Welcome to Ground of Aces. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is a game that's gone into early access just a couple months ago, so obviously things will change within this game before it gets to full release, but this is from Blind Flug Studios, and I'm really excited to play this one. While it's still adding content to it and growing on a regular basis here, it's already quite playable and quite fun as I've gotten in and done a few hours to get to know the game a little bit. We're going to set up a new game right now. There's only 2 maps available, both in England, and you're going to play as the RAF, the Royal Air Force, during World War II. Now, of course, the Battle of Britain is ongoing at this time, 15th August 1940, and with Perranporth or Lichfield, we'll go ahead and play on the Lichfield map for this one. The base just opened on the 1st of August. The game is going to begin on the 15th of August with just 8 crew members and no pilots on site as things are just getting started. And as the map is loading, you can see the larger map of the area we're going to play in. We've got a road in, one tent structure at the moment. We are literally just starting out with our Air Force base. In Staffordshire, England. And you can see that the airfield and defenses have taken damage, leaving us with nothing. Now, a few days later, we begin gameplay. Welcome, Commander. You have been allocated a plot of land to build up a new RAF airfield. We supplied you with a ground crew and a shipment of starter resources to get you going. Establish your airbase capabilities. We will continuously supply you with weekly resource shipments. Where supplies are currently in high demand, make sure you gather and use natural resources in your vicinity efficiently to get started. Build up workbenches to refine natural resources to useful materials for your mission. It's up to you to be as efficient as possible in these dire times. Critical for airbase capabilities are 3 things: a designated runway of minimum tier and free of obstacles, parking spots for your planes in close takeoff vicinity, and sleeping quarters for pilots. Building these is your first task. As a base commander, the morale of your people is critical for success. Manage their confidence, energy, and mood by building up steady cooked food supply, good sleeping quarters, and meaningful downtime activities for breaks. Should base morale reach a critical level, you will be stripped of your responsibilities. Once you have established your airbase capabilities, you will receive regular flight missions and weekly orders to do your part in winning the war. Remember, being successful in missions will be key to keeping up morale on your base. Good luck, Commander. Make the RAF proud. Alright, with that, we begin our work phase. It's 8 a.m. on the 15th of August. Let's hit pause real quick. We have basic tasks. Good progression track. There is no full-on tutorial. That was essentially it. We jumped straight into the game with the knowledge that we need to build an airstrip, a parking spot, order an airplane, and add 1 bed. Also, to guide you along the way is pressing issues. The red ones being more severe. There's no food. There's no kitchen. There's no saw station. We also have no water. There's no defined runway. We're not going to get very far without those things. We have our build menu, and we have our list of resources. First, second, and third tier. We'll look more at that as it fills out. Also, we have our game speed and time. We have our base morale, which currently is a 50.5. That's where we're at here, meaning it's actually pretty decent. It can go into the negative and be terrible. Right now it's positive by a fair amount. We also have the ability to raise the alarm. We can earn victory points, which is required to order new planes. And then we have a few menus up here as well. Let's jump straight into the game. My objective for this one, well, we're still in early access, and so Like I said, the game is quite playable at this point, but this is going to be a little bit of a blend between a first look and a short mini series. I'm anticipating maybe 4 episodes on this one so we can get a good look at where the game is at right now when we have some further updates. And you'll need to let me know in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button so this gets out there, and leave a comment to help with the algorithm, especially as I do have a smaller channel. The algorithm is a cruel mother. The situation we find ourselves in is there's going to be a lot more updates coming to this game before it gets into proper release, and so I will be very happy to come back to this again at a later date when it's a bit more developed and refined. For now, let's see how developed and refined it already is, which, like I said, is quite playable already by this point. Now, this game does have a fairly efficient use of space going around the perimeter and allowing you to see everything in the interior as your main screen. What I'm covering with the face cam here is the event log, which is a little more minor as far as things go, because anything that will happen there is going to have some sort of larger anything important is going to have larger significance and appear elsewhere on the screen and not just in that little event log. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crew. At the moment there's 4. There's actually 8. We'll get 4 more here in just a moment. Get a few tips along the way here. Outside of that, like I said, there's no actual proper tutorial with this one, but everybody has pre-assigned task priorities that you can change. Like our field engineer is not set to do any of the cooking, but others are. Naturally, with the roles that they have, it does balance itself out, so we are not going to tweak that at this stage. But let's go ahead and unpause and begin playing the game as 2 trucks arrive with our other 4 crew members and a group of supplies, replacing what was lost. We need an airstrip. Let's go ahead and get on with building said airstrip. We already noticed that there was an airstrip here, at least a dirt version of an airstrip anyway. We're going to go ahead and build out one here. We need to get into tier 1 status for our airstrip, which means we need to get it at least 80 meters in length, 12 meters wide, and dirt type. You can see here on the right hand side where it's showing tier 1. If we go less, we're not getting tier 1. So the requirement for tier 1 is sufficient with this. We're going to go ahead and place that. And you see this was already an existing one, but they just need to kind of refinish off the edges, and everybody automatically handles tasks based on the priority assigned. For now, they are doing the work that they need to do to make that happen. So in the meantime, our next task is to build a parking spot. In my trial run, I assumed that our parking spot was going to be down here at this end. That's not. It should be at the other end. So we're going to place our first parking spot way up here. Airstrip's done. Onto the parking spot. You cannot order an airplane until the parking spot is done. So in the meantime, we'll look ahead to the other task, which is build beds. The parking spot requires 40 planks. Those are being delivered 5 at a time by our crew members. And here is the barracks, which, even though this is all doorway openings, I'm gonna go ahead and slot in a cot just over here. Sleeping, we'll add a bed. We're gonna place that. That'll give us that 10th. I would like to add a drawer, but we are going to tackle that at a later time because we are missing quite a few things here that we desperately need, especially a saw station. And as we're going to be adding more parking spots, we're going to go along the runway. Not that that's the best way to do that in real life. You want to keep things staggered. In game, it's a game. So we're going to set harvest, and we are going to harvest everything in this area along our path. We'll harvest this down later. For now, that'll open up this area. Another thing, now we do have some supplies. Raw water is good. Here is raw water. It's a pond. It has 30 water. It refills over time, so I'm going to set that early because water is an infinite resource, but you have to use it to get it. All right, we've already got everything added. That parking spot will be done soon enough. There's the bed. The bed's done. We now have 10 beds. We have 8 crew members, 10 beds. We have spot for 2 more. Once we order a plane, that plane's going to fly in, and the pilot who flies it in is reporting to us. So we will have to house them once they get here, and that'll quickly put us at 9. You can see everybody's actively harvesting food from bushes. They are harvesting the wood from trees. They're harvesting stone, all of those kind of basic resources that will help us grow. But morale has dropped quite a bit already over the course of the day. Everybody's been working hard for a number of hours, so morale is going to rise and fall on a fairly rapid rate. But we are nearly done with that parking spot, so we can order that airplane here in just a moment. Without those trees, now you've got a much better visual of kind of what's going on here. Of course, logs are still in their place, and there is our parking spot. Time to order an airplane. Do that from here in the airplane shop. So we have 4 tiers of airplane. We can't order from the 5 tiers. We can't order from the 5th tier because A, we do not have a 5th tier runway, and B, we do not have 12 victory points to order said plane. So we have to head way down to what we do have, which is a tier 1 airstrip, and the only plane available to us is the 0 victory point cost Gloucester Gladiator. The Gladiator Mark I has a width of 9.38 meters, a length of 8.36 meters. The engine is a Bristol Mercury 8A, and the armament is 2 machine guns. Very simple. This is essentially a World War I era plane, or at least in between World War I and definitely not World War II era just yet. Small parking spot is required. Its fight capability is between a 5 and 20. Its bombing capability is between a 5 and 10. The maneuverability is between a 20 and 45. The recon power is between an 18 and 35. Transport 4 to 20. And stealthiness 10 to 15. Those will all come in handy. And as you can see, everything is a range. There's going to be a random dice roll within the range. The minimum that could happen on the recon is an 18. The maximum is a 35. Maybe you'll roll a 23. Maximum speed 414 kilometers per hour. Range is 715 kilometers. The ceiling is 10,000 meters, meaning how high it can go. Harold Reese is the pilot that's going to come with this one, so he will be housed with us. We will take care of him, and he will pilot the Gloucester. And with that, we move into our next set of targets. We need to build a radio. Well, we already have one. That's this guy sitting on the table with a couple of camp chairs around it. We need to harvest trees. We need to craft. There is our plane landing now. So we need to harvest more trees, and it's not counting the ones that we've already just harvested. We're also going to need to craft sets of planks and build a saw station. Let's go ahead and pick these trees then for harvest. That'll take care of the harvest part, and then we need a saw station, and from that we can craft the planks. And as this is all kind of happening over there, why don't we place this strategically for now? It is acceptable as an outdoor. You need 10 wood to craft the saw station. We will have that 10 wood here in just a moment, and we're going to place this just here. So you can ghost things and set them for assignment. The reason why we do not have wood, even though we do have wood, is that we don't currently have a defined storage zone. Let's go ahead and take care of that. In the meantime, even though it's not one of our main targets, let's start handling some of these minor targets. So for the zones, we have storage, we have gardening, we have safety, we have we can expand or remove zones. We're going to go ahead and set a storage zone, and look, we have all these storage items that are not in a storage zone but are, you know, storage type items. We're going to go ahead and expand it just a little bit and make it, do I want to make it by 5, 11 by 5, 12 by, we're going to go 12 by 5. And yes, we'll select all the goods in our storage zone. Now you're going to actually see everybody's going to come and put things in the storage zone, which means they're going to pick it up and set it down. Not a big deal. It takes them just a second. And The harvesting trees thing is already nearly done. Wood's already being brought to the saw station, so we'll move on pretty quickly to our next set of goals. But again, referring to our secondary pressing issues, we need a kitchen, and there is an outdoor kitchen. So let's go ahead and go to the workbenches and make a field kitchen. Once we have the wood, at least. We need one more wood for the saw station. I'm going to wait for that to be delivered before I actually click on this. But you can see we can get an outdoor kitchen placed. And let's see if that's going to be there. I want to have them working close by to one another. So with that wood delivered, we'll place the kitchen here. Have an outdoor workstation. But now that we have our designated area and everything's been shifted into that designated area, we actually have our supply for everything now, and it will let us know what kind of supply there is. So our plane is here. It has full fuel. It has a vehicle integrity, meaning like mechanical. It's taking wear already. It's dropped to 99%. It's going to take wear regularly, especially as it sits outside. And the overall vehicle health is at a 100. It can take damage in missions, or if you get attacked. It's also getting pretty late, and the time for work is done. Here is our schedule as it's assigned for now. So everybody sleeps midnight to 5 a.m. They're getting 5 hours of sleep a night. That's it. It's not much. A little more sleep will help with the recovery. We will get that changed, but not for a few days at least. We've got a lot of hard work to do here early on. They get a couple hours of leisure time, like time to stop and eat. They also get that at the end of the day. They work straight through the day otherwise, so they eat just before night. They eat in the morning. Not easy, but they'll get through it. But we will take out a little bit of that work time a little bit later on. Now, with only a few chairs, there's only a few places to sit, so a lot of them are having to stand around, which means they are not recovering as quickly, and that's a problem that we need to resolve pretty quickly, and that's going to come down to not enough chairs. We need a lot more wood for that, but we have some more pressing issues. Now, a quick lay of the land what we have around here. This is the main camp area. I have noticed that off to the side here we've got a toilet along with some liquid barrels in a tent way down there, but otherwise all we have is our main area here where we have a flagpole, which does offer some comfort to them. They'll stand at it, they'll salute it, and it'll handle some of the stress that they have as they feel honored to serve their country in a time of war. They of course got their rest at night. The drawers offer a +2 to mood, and you can see how it kind of offsets across an area. So this guy is not getting a mood boost right now, which means we very much do need to add in a drawer as soon as possible, a desk drawer, to give him that mood boost while he sleeps. The chairs, +1 to energy. So again, something that helps them. The radio adds confidence. So all specific boosts to the individuals. The individuals like Desmond Hunt. Desmond Hunt is quite confident right now. He's got plenty of energy, and of course he's recovering because he's sleeping, and his mood is fairly good. Those are the three things that keep him going for the overall, which is your average, your morale. Saw station placed, supplies delivered, and it's halfway built. The field kitchen, the wood's like right there. It's going to be delivered any moment, but we'll get that saw station and planks crafted. For now, it's the middle of the night. It's 2 a.m. Let's speed things up. And so we reach morning. Everybody's going to grab their food, and only a few are able to sit down. Others are able to stand by and do what they need. Stand by that radio, get a little bit more of a boost there as everybody starts fresh for the day. And this saw station is nearly complete. And there we go. We now have a saw station where we can put in an order. Here's our available product catalog for the saw station. That's planks. Takes 1 wood, makes 5 planks. So we're going to go ahead and select that. We can set it to repeat in order, or we can set it to produce a certain number until we have enough in storage, and I really like that preference. We're gonna, for now, set this up to have 20 planks in storage at any given time. We'll increase that number later on. That is a pattern you're going to see me repeat again and again. Having a set number of goods at all times, you have to make sure that you do not exceed the value of your storage space, but that is a wonderful way to get things going. And immediately, somebody with a high priority is going to that saw station and working. They are making planks, as we see. Now, 1 wood becomes 5 planks, so it's going to happen, relatively quick with that process. But they want 5 sets of planks, not 5 planks, 5 sets. So we've made 1 set of 5 planks so far. Kitchen is done, so the most pressing needs are done. Next up, we need chairs, we need sheltered storage, and we need a metalworks workbench. Okay, there's a lot to do. There is a lot to do. Now, adding chairs, well, that's going to require wood, because we're going to make some wood chairs. Let's go ahead and add a couple for now. This will be a good use for the blanks, and as this radio gives bonuses, we want to place these guys nearby to this radio. So we'll put in, let's add 3 for now. That's going to give us 6 in the short term chairs, and that's going to get a lot more people seated. Like I said, we had 8 crew members, but we also have that pilot, so we're sitting on 9 people present. 6 chairs at least takes care of 2/3 of them instead of 1/3. It's going to have a much bigger impact on morale, but that's going to have to do for the moment to get us started. In the meantime, I've got to figure out what's next besides just 5 sets of planks. I know we need place for this metalworks workbench. I know we need to provide shelter for our storage, as in a tent, but the metalworks workbench and all these other workbenches and building the tents, I know, is going to require a certain station, which can only be built indoors. So we're going to switch to building a structure. They did deliver us a lot of tarps, so we do have quite a few tarps. We've defined a storage zone. Now we need the sheltered storage, a guarded zone, and a storage zone for trash. But before I get to those, I need to utilize these tarps to replicate and make more tarps for us by getting a indoor workstation. So I've already kind of planned out how I want to do this, and we are going to make an 8x4 grid for this, and I think we can start this about here. So we're going to go 8x4. That is our floor. They will use the tarps. They'll get started on that. We're also going to need walls, windows, the likes. So let's go ahead and quickly lay out walls and then replace with the goods we need. We're going to put a door on the outside edges, and then we will put some windows to the interior just a bit here. There we go. And then add a roof to this puppy, and that will give us a workstation where we can fit all the indoor workbenches, at least, inside. Some require an indoor space, some require an outdoor space, some can be placed in either. But while they get that done, let's go ahead and shift to our primary tasks, which includes a garden zone. And so back to areas and gardening zone. I need 2 types of gardening zones, and you'll see why here in just a moment, but let's go ahead and make a small one first with a 4x4. What we're going to do with this one is we are going to switch to beans and seeds. We need seeds. We're going to set up, that's going to give us 80 bean seeds from 16 that we start with. The reason why we need the seeds is, well, there's going to be some beans here. There it is, bean seeds. So they give us some bean seeds to start, but they don't give us a lot. So if you don't then turn seeds into more seeds, you're going to run out quickly. And we do have some food stock, and we can go harvest around the area. And speaking of, we've already finished off that water there. Let's go ahead and do a little more foraging. We'll grab this water, and we will grab some of these specific goods that involve food. We are already having an incident. Somebody got dizzy. Stanley Edwards. He collapsed. He's recovering energy, I guess, as we speak. There's no sign of what's ailing him. They collapsed from exhaustion. So he just ran out of energy, and he is actively recovering that right now. Walls complete. We are now working on the roof of this first workstation area. And as the garden is, it's already being planted in some areas as we're still just preparing the garden itself. And like I said, this is all for seeds. We're going to have a little bit more in seeds than what we have in space here. So we are going to be able to place a full garden for the actual farming thereafter. But we have our first task, and that is a light fighter interception. But of course, we only have one plane right now. That's a little bit of a problem. So we're going to get our first mission, and we only have a single pilot to assign. This is iffy. We have a 54% success rate to intercept. This is super, super risky. We do have 7 hours. Let me see if we can change this. I don't think we can get a second runway or a second parking spot in time and to get a second plane out here, especially with this happening. If we set a third one right there, can we cancel? Let's cancel this. There. We will place this one now without the obstacles to save time. But there's all these other priority tasks, and I don't know how to make this as the top priority. Because, you know, there's other tasks. Tent's ready. It's already leisure time. They're not going to work for the night. So we can only scramble one plane, or we avoid the mission, the first mission. I don't want to lose our... He's replaceable. He's replaceable. You know what? It's okay. We can order a new plane and pilot. Buddy, I hope you don't die, because it's going to hurt our morale. But this is it. First mission. We still need a second plane, though. 2 planes are a lot more successful than 1. So our pilot's going to miss his sleep time here, too. He's going to go airborne, and he's going to have a rough night. But the pilots do not take on the tasks that the ground crew take on. So the pilot will be able to come back and rest up. I wish you luck, my friend. But at level 1 and flying solo, the odds are not good. 54% chance. Everybody else heads to sleep. They'll wake up to the pilot returning or a replacement pilot in his place. In the meantime, though, we are going to set up our storage, or I should say opposite storage, our trash pile. And that'll take care of one check mark. The sheltered storage, well, now that this is built up, now we can change our focus towards turning this into a sheltered storage space, but we don't have enough tarp. So our first workbench that we need to bring in here is a tailoring one. So let's go ahead and assign that first. Workbench. There we go. Tailor station. We do not have the machinery, though, to make that happen. So we are going to place that here, and then we needed machinery. That's the Metalworks workbench. So we will place that next to it. At least start the process of laying out a floor. It's 12 by 5 grid for our storage area. Enemy scout successfully eliminated. That is the notification behind the face cam there. Good news. Like I said, we had nearly a 50-50 shot on that one. 54% was all. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot of him, but he has succeeded. Everybody else is up for the morning. He still hasn't returned, but here we go. He got an 18 over a 7, so actually that was pretty good. What was his range? Like 10 to 30? He never would have failed that one. Airplane health dropped by 3, so actually he took very little damage in the process. And for the successful mission, we have a victory point. The first upgraded aircraft that we can get will require 3 victory points. So 3 successful missions, and we can bring in a better plane. Base confidence goes plus 20 and base mood plus 15. And other than the expenditure of fuel and light damage to the plane, we're looking pretty good. Ooh, ammo though. He used a lot of ammo on that, or came not full. Alright, we're going to need the machinery parts first, so the metal workbench is going to have to be the priority. There we go. And from here we can order production of metal and production of machinery from metal. So we'll queue up both of those, and we will queue up to have a minimum number. I will again go with 20 as a baseline to get us started, to make sure we always have at least 20 metal, which we already have 20 metal right now. But let's go ahead and queue up, we'll say 10 on the machine parts for the moment. And another mission already coming in. I would very much like to have our second area. Yeah, wood's already been delivered, so this just needs to be constructed. It's sleep time. It's 3:20 in the morning. I just flew through the day, that whole day. Okay, well, the seeds fully planted. Do I have seeds left? I do have 9 bean seeds left, in which case, while we get through the night here, let's go ahead and designate another gardening zone. And this little 4x4, here, let me show you. This little 4x4, 16 becomes 80. We get substantially more than what we put into it, which means we can support for 4 beans a larger area, as in an 8x8 grid can be supported growing beans, and that'll produce 256 food. Now, it requires 64 seed. We're going to get 80 out of this, so we're going to slowly grow up kind of a stockpile of seed this way, but it allows us to keep some in reserve. They do go bad over time anyway. That's what we need to have some success with that, and that'll grow us a decent amount of beans. But we still have this clear sky recon mission. We're on that leisure time. I'm going to wait to scramble and hope that we can get this done in time and get a second plane brought in so we can send 2 planes out. We haven't run out of tarps yet, and we have completed the floor. I'm going to also go ahead and start walls construction. Put a door at either end. And a roof. I don't think we're going to have enough tarps to finish this now, but once we do get through the other project here, those machine parts should be on their way here fairly soon. Oh, but nobody's working on the parking spot. Okay, I guess I better just see what we can do. You can see we have a maximum of 3 that we can scramble for this particular mission. The recon mission is a 5 to 25. He's a 23 to 25, meaning we actually have a very good chance that he will succeed on this mission. As anything, his minimum is going to be a 23, and the maximum they're going to draw, the maximum requirement's a 25. So yeah, 96% chance. Let's just get on with it. Let's continue on with our wooden chairs situation. We're going to add in a couple chairs here on this north side of the radio, which will put me at 8 overall with 9 people present, but we're going to have a 10th here fairly soon, once that parking spot's done at least. A little sad that they prioritized this over that, but we've got a high success rate for the current mission. We appear to be out of tarps, so that was it. But machine parts are starting to come in, so we'll have that Taylor station soon, and we'll be able to queue up the creation of tarps, and then we'll be able to finish. Yeah, there's 17 tent pieces left, and we need 60 to cover the roof. Now that parking spot's being completed. And we are starting to get the garden not to grow seeds, but the garden to grow the beans. And you can see we've already actually even planted some. All right, mission summary. Oh yeah, we got a 30. So he actually even did better than the 25 maximum. I think that's pilot input. Plane capability plus pilot capability. And the target was, the requirement ended up being an 11. So base confidence, base mood both up, and a second victory point. So we're just one victory point away already from being able to get a Hawker Hurricane. But let's go ahead and get another Gladiator for the moment. Requesting that one coming in. And there we go. Now we actually have 2 planes. Oh, just like that. Rainy Recon mission. Okay. Next mission, just like that. Our guy is not recovered, but much of a choice. Yeah, look at that. That's pilot. Our pilot, very confident and in a good mood because he's had a couple successful missions. Let's see what the new guy can do. 80%, 99. There you go. Let's take it. Send it both up. He's going to be a little tired. We'll give him some rest. That's going to be that third one, which means we do need to get that other parking space in. So let's harvest. Clear the area. You can see how it's important to have the parking spaces up here because this is where they're taking off from. Takeoff's more important than landing. You land, you can take more time to head back, right? You're only landing because it's safe. You're taking off because there's something you've got to get to. Something important, which could be scrambling to stop an attack. So for now, we are only growing 9 beans. It's not going to give us anywhere near the 256 food, but it's still going to give us something. It's, what, you get 5 food for every plot. That'll be 45 additional food. And food's not going to be a major problem. We have plenty of rations to get by for a good while, and we actually have our first shipment coming in 1 day. So we're almost there. Okay, how are we doing? Oh, almost ready. We're also nearly clear this area. I'm gonna wait for this mission, assuming it's successful, as we've got a 99% success chance. That'll give us that third victory point, and we'll actually have a better plane for the third one that will be in our arsenal. But right now we have 10. We have 8 crew members and 2 pilots present. So we're going to need some space to make this work. We're going to need another bed. So let's add in a bed. And let's go ahead and put a drawer between them so they both get a bonus. And there's still a doorway open here, here, and here. So they'll be okay coming in. And that'll prep us for the inevitable 11th member of our team. Still got a chair to go there. That means we're probably out of wood. I'm guessing we are out of wood. So let's go ahead and designate. Let's give our runway a little more clearance. So we're going to harvest. A lot of the guys were sitting around because there was no work to do. We're going to need more metal resources. Let's go harvest this damaged car. Going to provide us with 60 metal. There we go, mission complete. And 1 would have handled it, but not by much. That would have been awfully close. They both get a 29. But there's that victory point we needed. And we now have 3. We do have a maximum of 12 that we can carry, so you can only run so many successful missions till you've used up. And we only have a tier 1 airfield. We are definitely not ready for a tier 2 airfield just yet, so we are going to have to be patient and just get some better tier 1 options. Our planes return. Our pilots are going to get some rest. And there we go. Week 0 is complete. Our partial week. We had 3 missions, 100% success rate, and we get a shipment of supplies coming in. And we can change that shipment, and you see later on, when we have a better field rank, we can request a little bit more in terms of supply than what we're getting now, currently. We could reduce most of these things ourselves. Repair parts are definitely important. Food rations, can produce our own food. I'm not too worried about that one. So we are going to swap out a good number of these things. For one, you're going to see a lot of the things we can do involve luxury goods. So we're going to set that one up instead of the food rations. But the metal, the bricks, that'll help me get some things going here early on. Now, we do have a field kitchen, and I have not prepared meals yet. We need to get started on that. So we're going to set ourselves up for just 20 meals for now. And then some purified water. And we'll get 10 of that in storage. You can see that original pond. It's already refilled. We'll go ahead and harvest it and harvest some of those mushrooms there so we have some food. Parking spot nearly ready. Once I harvest these trees, they'll be able to get quite a few things on the go. There we go. Our Taylor station is ready. Tarps don't even have any base resource. They just get made. So for now, let's get 20 in reserve. There's also camouflage made from tarps. We'll worry about that one a little bit later. We'll add that in. But we do have our latest mission. And I'm wondering if we can get this plane in before that happens. Wood is in short supply. There's a lot of things requiring wood at the moment. That chair is done now. The drawer is done. We just need tarps for the bed. Oh. Yeah, we definitely need to harvest these guys. We do have planks being delivered, so let's give that a shot and see if we can get it constructed in time. You know what? It's a recon mission. This is not going to be that hard. It's a 5 to 25, 93% chance just from one of them. So they got it. They've got it, no problem. We do not need the third one to make that happen. Send our 2 pilots out. We definitely have a lot more wood in reserve now. The plank situation is nearly handled. It's the tarp situation. That's the bigger one, but we are starting to produce that from the Taylor station. So as those guys head out for their recon mission, the garden is what it's going to be until the first harvest here. The first couple of seeds are going to be ready in 3 days, and they'll immediately turn around and replant, and then they'll start to plant more. So this gardening station for the beans will start producing soon enough. We'll be self-sufficient without having to forage everything. But I think the brick station is probably, it's about that time. We could probably add it in. What do we need? 5 metal, 20 planks, and needs to be outdoors. So this is another outdoor station. We can place it. Still not enough chairs for everyone, so we're gonna have to continue adding. We've got a couple demands that are coming in a little bit ahead of it. Easily a successful mission, another victory point. So on our way towards an additional tier 1 plane, secondary tier 1 plane. And we do have somebody who's having some issues. Oh, that's our resource pile. Some metal. Why is it exposed? It's in. Oh, because there's no roof. Gotcha. It's a ghost roof right now. There we go. More tarps. We're up to 35, and that bed is going to be complete. So we do have a place just in time because there's our parking spot. And let's go ahead and ooh, Bristol bowfight. Now, is this? This is 4 20mm cannons and 6 machine guns. I'm curious what we have here. Oh, bigger parking spot is required. This one does not require. It's just got the cannons. Definitely better than just 2 simple machine guns. Far more fighter capability. Not sure how the recon capability compares. 18 to 35. 14 to 25. So it's actually less of a recon plane, more of an actual fighter. A little more stealthy too. 20 to 45 maneuverability. It's actually got less maneuverability. It's just a stronger fighter. Okay, well, let's bring one in. That requires bed 11. What is my count? 11. Okay, so we did a plan accordingly. But before we expand beyond 3, we will need a second barracks. And we definitely need more. There we go. We have covered storage finally. And that moves us into our first kind of regular order here. So we've got the kitchen built. We need to receive a shipment, which we have 6 days. We just started a new week. We need to respond to 4 missions, and we need to succeed in 3 of them. But in the meantime, we have targets. We have goals. Let's go ahead and continue on with some of those goals. The next one would be a cement mixer, but the next one is also still more wooden chairs. So let's put in a couple here, which will get us to 10 chairs. We can add in one down here, which will make it 11, and one for the future up there. Okay, Brickworks is ready. Let's go ahead and lay out. We need clay, raw water, and bricks for this. We will set our count to 20 to start out. Let's go normal speed for a little bit. I think we're going to need some more. So we do have some sand, but we don't have much. There is sand pit here. There is clay pit here. So let's go ahead and harvest some sand and clay. Let's harvest some more food and a little bit of wood. Food rations at 46, repair parts at 15, and we are out of ammo. We need ammo. So let me get on with these stations. The next one is the cement. So what we have so far is a field kitchen. We do not yet have an indoor kitchen. We'll get that made soon. We do have the saw station. We do now have the brick station. The cement mixer is the next one, and it's another outdoor one. So we'll place it over here. Metalworks bench we have. The metal press we do not. Let's go ahead and set that one. Electronics workbench we do not. We'll get to that soon enough. We do have the tailor station. We need the espionage radio. We need the boiler tank. We need an herb dryer, and we need a glass distillery. Plenty to come. 2 more on the way for now. As for the other minor notifications, the cement mixer is being placed right now. The seed situation is being dealt with. 1 day away till the first seeds start to harvest, and they'll multiply, right? You get 5 back for 1, but 1 has to turn around and go to replant there. So actually we're only pulling out 4. I think it will take time actually to ever see that get full. And maybe I've made it a hair too small. We could always expand the zone though. Add another small row. All right, folks, that is going to do it for this first episode, though, of this mini-series. We are definitely up and established. We're going to look to finish a handful of missions, get through a week within this next one, and whatever is beyond that stage. We certainly are set up for success so far, but we're definitely not yet self-sufficient. So that'll be the other goal in the short term, is to get some self-sufficiency so that we don't have to require on those shipments in order to succeed. But one of the things we did do is we brought in some luxury goods, which are going to give us the possibility to place some things that are going to increase mood, such as a lot of these social items, like a comfy chair large, is going to require planks, tarp, and luxury goods. And then it's going to have that mood, energy boosts, things that are going to make the group perform a little bit better and remain happy, which is why we brought those in. So that'll be one of our other targets, as we now have enough chairs for everyone that's here currently. But we're also kind of at that max capacity in the short term, and we definitely have room. I think we could easily bring in, I don't think there's any sort of limit. I think we could easily bring in 3 more planes for this first runway before we look to make a tier 2 runway. So that might be the objective on the next one, is to fully complete our capability of tier 1 and set ourselves up for tier 2. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.